I'm diving too much into details and people don't know what the hell I'm talking about.
Yeah.
All right, Robin. So you have a new a new thing. So you've created your first sort of iterations of guitars, because there's a few iterations of the Cosmo is the primary body, correct? But there are iterations of it that have slightly different names. This wooden batten of a neck with a bent sheet metal body, with the pickups that are movable because they're just sticking to the sheet metal. This is the one that people became familiar with the instrument. And then last year released your Sign guitar, where now you have a wooden body and the neck attached to it with a piece of sheet metal who is still attached to this, but there's certainly a lot more wood on the second iteration. And now it seems like the pendulum has swung the other way and you have a new one. Why don't you tell us about it for a second, and then I'll ply you with my questions.
Yeah. So the new model is a Lapsteel.
Welcome to Life with Strings Attached. I'm your host, Jamie Gale. In this episode, Robin Stumvoll returns to the podcast to talk about the release of Verso Instruments' latest design and the broader ideas that continue to shape his work. Robin is a designer and a luthier whose work constantly challenges how we think about guitars, materials, and musical interfaces. This time, our focus turns to the Lapsteel, an instrument with no fixed archetype, yet enormous expressive potential. From innovations in tuning and construction to the physics of sound, perception, and play, we explore how curiosity drives both design and music. Our conversation also moves beyond instruments, touching on childhood creativity, learning through play, emotional connection, and why making sound matters. I thoroughly enjoyed this conversation with Robin Stumvoll, and I hope that you do as much as I did.
Hey, Robin.
Hey,
great to see
Jamie.
you.
Hi.
Welcome
It's great
to Life
see
with
you
Strings
again.
Attached.
Hey, thank you for welcoming me again.
Yeah. Well, thanks for being on the show.
It's the third time, I guess, or fourth.
This is, I think it's your fourth time if we include the time with you and Uli Teufel together.
Yeah. I'm so honored.
You're one of our star guests.
Oh no! Thanks so much.
Well, it's because you keep doing things worth talking about. That's it's your own damn fault. Stop drawing so much attention to yourself. I've been really one of the things that I've thought about sort of retrospectively is the body of work that guitar makers develop, and that early in their career, the successful ones anyways, develop a body of work, typically a few body shapes. Later in life, they get to just kind of mostly redecorating them.
Yeah.
Once they develop a certain amount of sort of palettes to work with, if you will. But, I'm thinking about that retrospectively with people like Uli Teufel, Jens Ritter. There's a period in their life where they developed a whole bunch of bodies, but it's been a long time since either of them produced a new shape, and then, but they continue to modify and make iterations of their existing body of work. And so I think you're one of the first people that I'm working with after I've made this observation to watch you develop your body of work live, sort of in real time with this consciousness.
Right. Yeah, it's a tough challenge sometimes, but that's what keeps me alive, I guess. I need to do something new all the time. I have a big struggle with like just changing a little bit of a shape, like doing a cutaway. That's not a new design in my sense or understanding.
Yeah. Are you conscious of this? Do you think that there will be a period of proliferation for yourself, where you're just kind of in it and you're just going to make whatever you make, and then we'll see how it unfolds over time?
Yeah, I think it's the latter. Like, I don't plan stuff, and when I have the feeling of there might be an idea I have to follow, then I will do it, and I don't restrict myself either to only guitars or. I hope that I do something out of the guitar world as well. So I don't know what I'm doing next.
Yeah. Similarly, as a creative, in my earliest life, my creativity was mainly in making music, writing songs, learning new instruments and such. as I got into business, I really enjoyed the process of creating new offerings, new displays in my retail store, creating new programs in our school. I opened up an art gallery to show guitarists, sculptural art, so on and so forth.
Yeah.
And one of the things that I realized at a certain point, though, as I got myself into trouble, is that I had working business models, and my need to change was maybe counter to the business's need for stability.
Yeah.
And a lesson in life is learning like when not to mess with something also, like knowing when to stop to a certain extent.
Yeah.
It's different in creating new guitar designs, but in your business, there's a certain amount of, hey, this is working, this is built on this sort of process, and you don't need to completely, we would say throw out the baby with the bathwater.
I get what you mean. Yeah. It's also with the. I think we were talking about a new model later, and the thought behind like the building process of that turns my usual building process pretty much upside down, because it's so much. It's very different. Like I could easily externalize the production, which I'm currently not planning, but it's an option. I'm a bit feared of. Like I like building stuff, but I designed it in a way that it's very scalable and very easy to make, which is something very new to me. Like building guitars is very complex, and I struggle often with giving certain parts of the work away to somebody else, like fretwork. I can't imagine not doing that. And with something as simple as the new one, sorry, it's a different approach and a bit scary to think of. Like we will see where that brings me. It's a niche product, so I'm not too concerned about changing everything upside down. But I'm curious.
Well, I think that's your superpower, is your curiosity. But this idea of, I want to push a little bit deeper into this idea of when to stop, because I think that's also, I listened to, what's his name now? Joel Hage, who is the manager for, I think, Damien Hirst and a number of modern artists. And he was talking with the clinical psychologist Jordan Peterson about what is art. And they discussed the studio works also. So people who like Dale Chihuly, or Warhol's studio, Jeff Koons, these people will work with people in productions making the stuff. And they came to the conclusion that the art is really in knowing when to stop, when saying it's finished. Not just when to stop, but saying that's finished or keep going or we're done, and it's that moment, and, as an industrial designer, as an artisan, you're creating these new products. Do you get to the point where you think that it's perfect, or you say, I just have to get it out there, like stop, Robin. it's time to release it, or do you actually get a sense of resolve, like you finished it?
I do. I think I do. I know that what you're talking about from different. Like I also like to draw and stuff, and I know where this moment comes when you have to decide it's perfect now. Everything you're doing more is taking off of it. With a design, I think it's a bit different, because, and especially with something like I made with my new Lapsteel now, it has to be refined to the last detail, because when you order parts that are produced for you, there's no room for spontaneous errors and stuff. This does not work. It's different with the guitars that I built, I think, just in the sense of accepting maybe, like, I don't know, it's a very thin line between a finish error that's character and a finish error that's shit. Yes. So Yeah, I think I learned a bit of what's acceptable, and my standards are very high, but that's different. And then the new guitar really does not have that moment. Like I would say it's pretty much not perfect. Is it's the wrong term, but I would say it's done.
Finished.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
done.
finished. Yeah.
Wonderful. That's something that I think the difference from the typical artisan approach and materials, if you're working within wood, also in particular, and you work in both metal and wood on all of the models that you've created to date anyways. I had someone come to me for some business development who had apprenticed with a very famous guitar maker, and he was very good at what he did. He was, thought he had all the skills together, and he came to me to do, to help him with a level of production, let's say, a small production, where there were very clearly defined parameters. There's a catalog, and it says it's this.
Yeah.
And when it says it's this, and you make a mistake, you can't just now make it different.
No.
Right? The artists do that, right? Like, I didn't plan on doing that, but now it's got, I routed the binding channel too deep, and now it has a purfling line I didn't intend.
That wouldn't work with me.
Or a herringbone, right?
I would have problems with that too.
And if you're doing a hand sanding of a radius dish, typically they don't come out perfectly even. They come out a little bit off each time. And
I tolerate like just shapes and of the neck when the neck size is a bit different, then that's sometimes okay for me. But like you said, when you change something like purflings or inlays, imagine my guitars with inlays.
Right.
It would be off. So there's no room.
Yeah, and there's downstream effects. Now, sometimes not. So, I've done a lot of work with a big case manufacturer for years, and people send diagrams and drawings of what a guitar is. They make a case on it, and they say it doesn't fit.
Yeah.
But if you measure the guitar, you realize the neck angle is substantially. If the neck angle goes off by half a degree or a degree, it sits differently in the case because you extrapolate that across, 20 inches of body. A half a degree is not a half a degree anymore.
Yeah.
It's it's a substantial difference. And that's the kind of thing that happens sometimes within handwork, that there's all these minor adjustments for that. If you're working, we can talk about this. You have a new Lapsteel model, and it's all metal, right? And if you
almost
okay, all right. but if you put a metal screw in, like a screw hole in slightly the wrong place, that piece of metal's done.
No, it doesn't fit.
You can't just plug it, glue it up, shift it over. It's gone.
Yeah.
Right? There's a lack of forgiveness there. Yeah. And so how has it been for you working in this? Well, hang on a second here. What should we do? I'm diving too much into details and people don't know what the hell I'm talking about. All right, Robin. So you have a new thing. So you've created your first sort of iterations of guitars, because there's a few iterations of the Cosmo is the primary body, correct? But there are iterations of it that have slightly different names. This wooden batten of a neck with a bent sheet metal body, with the pickups that are movable because they're just sticking to the sheet metal. This is the one that people became familiar with the instrument. And then last year released your Sign guitar, where now you have a wooden body and the neck attached to it with a piece of sheet metal who is still attached to this, but there's certainly a lot more wood on the second iteration. And now it seems like the pendulum has swung the other way, and you have a new one. Why don't you tell us about it for a second, and then I'll ply you with my questions.
Yeah. So the new model is a Lapsteel, and maybe we should talk about Lapsteels first in general, because I find it such an interesting topic. If you don't mind, before we dive in.
Tell me your train of thought. Love it.
Yeah. So I thought about the Lapsteel as a very unique guitar in the guitar world, because as you know, best of all of us, the guitar is an icon. In like the Telecaster, everybody knows how guitars look. And when you think of Lapsteel guitars, there's no archetype, and most of the people, and I would argue even 99% of all people on this planet, have heard Lapsteels, but they don't know what a Lapsteel actually is, or even heard the name of Lapsteel. Like it's more like a slide guitar. And I find that very, very interesting, because there's lacking this image that we have in our heads. Like when I tell you, think of a saxophone, you immediately have this picture in your head. And Lapsteel is a blank sheet of paper. On the other hand, it's on one hand it's free, like it's a good thing, I think, that it's not connected to a picture. But on the other hand, it's very connected to certain types of genres and music, which is very contradictory to what it actually is, because a Lapsteel is such a minimalistic instrument that opens up so many musical things you can do with it, because there's no, you can change tunings, you can you touch the strings, and you have this bar in your hand, which is basically a variable fret, so you can do whatever you want with it. But usually we connect it to Hawaiian music and country music, or this atmospheric, swell, cinematic stuff, SpongeBob. And I find that a very interesting thing to think about, which led me to being interested in making a Lapsteel in the first place. I mean, I'm a big Lapsteel fan since I'm 15 years old, because of Ben Harper and John Butler. And I built a Lapsteel when I was 15. It was my first and my only guitar that I built before I started with Cosmo. So I'm connected to the roots of it as well. But now with my new Lapsteel, I'm thinking much wider, and my intention was to not leaving the history behind, but to open up space for something new to happen. And I think the materials and the construction that I chose offer very new things, like playing techniques with the movable pickup. It's very interesting, much more interesting than on a regular guitar, because you can use the whole scale of the instrument, which has much more impact, and you can play with the pickup much more in a sense of musical changes rather than just changing the tone of it. That's basically why I made a Lapsteel. So what is the new model? Was your question before? I would describe it.
Before we dive into that a little bit more, because I think you described quite a bit of it there. It's a Lapsteel. It still has the movable pickup. But you talked about this sort of being a blank paper, and correct me if I'm wrong, but I seem to remember you telling me that Verso means the back of the page. It sort of means that sort of blank paper. And so when you said that made a lot of sense to me, that you're attracted to the idea of this open space where you can create, and you're less defined, less restrictions. That you can impose your own restrictions. And so I have done work in the Lapsteel area. As a matter of fact, I was involved in a product from an Australian company, Cole Clark, who designed something called a Violap for Ben Harper specifically.
Oh, cool.
Which was basically an ES335 and a Weizenborn crossed together. It had an acoustic system and two humbuckers with a throughway switch and a dual output, and you could blend those two things together. That attracted people like Jerry Douglas when he was touring with Elvis Costello as well. And so I worked with Jerry, Randy Coors in Nashville, a bunch of these. But I had very little experience with Lapsteels at all before that moment, but it raised my consciousness of what the Lapsteel really is and the possibilities with it. But most of my work was really in Nashville, so it was related to bluegrass and country music. But eventually, gospel. There's actually quite a bit in gospel music also, and blues music, and so. It's a fun instrument, and watching people who are really good at it is shocking, because it's like they're playing with one finger, and they're just as fast as the people playing with 4 fingers or 5 fingers. It's shocking. And so the thing that I'm excited about you for is that I have seen firsthand these players attracted to something that gives them new possibilities. They are open because there is not, as you said, that sort of icon that they must conform to as to what that is. And so that leaves some
open space.
Yeah, they want to come play in your sandbox. And so I'm curious to see what happens with the new toy you've created. I hope it's okay to call it a toy, but it's a musical toy, so we get to play, we get to enjoy it, right?
Yeah. You know my thesis about playing like it's no joke. I take playing seriously. Right.
Yes. Yeah, I think that's a Jungian approach, is it not? I think. So great. All right. So now you've had this open space, the Verso, the back of the page. You've created a Lapsteel of your own, free of restrictions of the expectations of icon. And so what did you do with your freedom?
At first, I restricted my freedom very much because I love to restrict myself in designing new stuff. So I find it incredibly hard when I have the whole world open to make something new. So of course, I restricted myself in sheet metal work, which simplified a lot of things in terms of form. And it somehow makes things making sense. So it's basically log refers, the name log, the instrument is called log, and it refers to a bar. Like it's there's a better word for it in English, I bet. More like a straight profile. And it's made from two U-shaped profiles. So you have these two U's, and you stick them together and form this very stiff structure. And
a squared U, like they're square on, right?
Yeah, exactly. So you have the top part, which is made of carbon steel, powder coated, and it's magnetic. So it accepts a magnetic pickup, attaching to the surface. You can move that around. But it also is both the saddle and the nut. Sorry, the bridge and the nut. So these are bent upwards, and then you have the fret markers on that surface as well. So it's multiple things in one piece.
When you say bent up, you mean like it's the same sheet metal, and you cut and bent up a piece of that to make the nut, and likewise with the saddle.
Exactly. So it's all one piece. And the bottom part is made of 2 millimeter stainless steel. So it's very stiff, very heavy as well. And this part takes all the string forces. So it's an integral part basically. And it also has the string holder and also a wooden block. It's not natural wood. It's multiplex. What's the English word? Plywood, exactly.
Or laminate.
Yeah, it's plywood. And in that piece of plywood, there are basically harp tuners where you can really fast change the tunings, which was my intention to use harp tuners for that, because you really can change tunings within a couple of seconds. It takes some practice. It sucks at first, but once you get the grip of it, it's really cool. It's stable, has some advantages, and also formal and in terms of building it and keeping the price lower. It's a good thing to use these. So
is there a gear in a harp tuner?
No, it's direct. So you use a tool to tune it, and the tool is clipped inside the body. So when you flip the instrument on top, you have this hole where where the pickup connectors are, and also the mono stereo switch, and then there's a plastic clip on the side where you can clip in the tool so you don't lose it.
Yeah. Yeah, great.
Yeah.
Okay. And so the tool is something like a socket wrench kind of look, right? Yeah, to it. Yeah, because it's a square peg, correct? Yeah.
Yep.
Okay, great.
So it's easy to like, even if these wear out in the future, it's a part that you can get everywhere. And
Yeah, it's the same thing inside a piano as well, right?
Mhm.
So pianos,
Yeah.
harps, it's pretty normal actually
Yeah.
for stringed
Yeah.
instruments. We just don't see them on guitars very often.
Mhm.
And so, yeah,
Yeah.
and the stability of those tuners.
They are interesting because it's not only friction. Well, it is friction, but there is a very, very fine thread on the
Right,
post. So it goes deeper the more you thread it in.
Mm-hmm,
So the friction is very high. Like the hole is drilled 0.5 millimeter smaller, so it's very much pressed in. It feels very fluent when you tune it, and restringing is much quicker than with, like, it really takes practice. The first time you're doing it, you don't get along with it very well.
Yeah.
But once you spend 2 weeks or maybe less, it's second nature.
Yeah. Wonderful.
Yeah, and it wouldn't be a Verso, I think, if if nothing would be annoying with the headstock.
Right.
the naysayer would say. Just kidding.
Yeah, it's great. Cedar Creek Custom Case Shop is your premier fretted instrument custom case maker, and we invite you to create a musical instrument case unlike any other, one that's unique to you. Every Cedar Creek custom case is hand-built by highly skilled craftspeople using only select woods, Providence Forge hardware, and premium instrument-friendly materials. At Cedar Creek Custom Case Shop, we are dedicated to helping you design the case of your dreams. Find out more at cedarcreekcases.com. So, you sent me some demo videos. I've had a chance to see some things before it's released here. And first of all, I was surprised that you have some skills playing wise.
Yeah,
I've seen
thank you.
demos, but often I've seen other people demoing your guitars.
Yeah,
And,
it's the first time. Yeah.
it's always a weird thing to say. I was surprised. It's not that I didn't think you could play, but I get the same thing. Every once in a while, someone hears me like checking out a guitar, demoing, like, "Oh, you play?
Oh, you
Like,
can play. Yeah.
what did you think? How
I
do you
guess
think I
we
judge
were
guitars?"
musicians at first place. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm playing much longer than I'm building.
Yeah, exactly. I never quite know how to take the comment, but anyways, so, and
Yeah,
I just
I
did it to
appreciate
you.
it.
Please
Thank you.
excuse me.
Thank you.
So yeah, and it became so obvious watching you play because we've had a chance to work with your other instruments. And one of the things I love to show them is taking off the pickup and using it in your other hand and using it above the strings and swelling in and such. And this became so obvious when you did it with the
Lapsteel.
Lapsteel.
Swells are very important for Lapsteels. Yeah, so it's cool.
Yeah, exactly. And so this gives new possibilities. And one of the other things I was thinking about is that, this complaint that with this other instrument I was telling you about, with the 2 humbuckers in it, one of them was placed above some of the high lines. And so if it was turned off, if the neck pickup was turned on and the bridge was turned off and you went past it, the sound would disappear, a little bit, and people complained about it a little bit. And I told Jerry Douglas this, and he's like, "What are they doing playing all the way up there? All the money's in the first position."
Yeah.
Which was funny. But when I saw you move your pickup, I'm like, "Oh, you can put it exactly anywhere you want it. No one would have to complain about going past the pickup."
Yeah. Playing past the pickup is it's a very artistic thing to do. Like, you have this sympathetic string ring, which is lovely. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. And so that's great.
One thing that I love about moving the pickups is when you probably know the fact that when you have the bar exactly above the pickup, you don't hear the string ringing because there's no string movement. So you can use this effect for either all strings or maybe just one string to make a swell from that. So you play above the pickup, which can be wherever you want, like a specific note. Let's say you play a G with your bar, and then you have the pickup exactly underneath, and you pull away the pickup, you fade in this one string, which you cannot do with a volume a volume pedal. And I love that. It sounds a bit weird because you still hear when you pluck it, you hear that noise. It's a character thing, I would say. It's something you can't do with a normal lap steel, so I see it as a pro.
Yeah. let's make this explicitly clear for people who are listening who don't quite understand what we're talking about. So Robin's new log, imagine just a long metal bar with lines in it and strings above it. But the pickups, as with all of the Verso instruments to date anyways, are simply stuck onto the metal through the magnetic response. And so you can place this pickup absolutely anywhere on this instrument. There, you have enough cable, enough line to be able to move it. And so, playing with the point and where the pickup isn't just talking about moving it from sort of, treble to warm positions.
It's from first fret to everywhere. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And this opens up new possibilities for those who want to explore. And I think that's really what we're talking about as the musical explorers here. Not that it's not useful to people who want to play older styles and reenact. It certainly is, but it gives new possibilities. That's exciting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Lots of experiments. Like what's also cool is when you stuff the bar underneath the strings, basically creating a capo wherever you want, and you split the scale length into two instruments, basically two harps, so to say. It's not a Lapsteel then anymore because it sounds different. And then you have two pickups and you can play simultaneously. So it's stuff you really have to figure out, and it makes so much fun. Like the time is flying when you play it.
Wonderful. I look forward to getting my hands on one of these. I haven't had a chance to try it yet. I've seen pictures and video so far, but I believe you're sending one on tour with the Petite Guitar Showcase in 2026. Right?
Yeah, I want to.
So that's too far away though right now. That's not till like the autumn. So I don't know what I'm going to do.
It takes a while.
yeah. That's all right. All right.
Yeah.
So
but I'm really excited to hand it over to musicians that are not necessarily Lapsteel players. So my thought is to also ask electronic musicians, for example, and embed it in a different context. Like when you see the instrument, it totally makes sense to put it on a table with pedals, for example, because it's the same height, it's a rectangular shape, it all fits together. It's very at home in a synthesizer context, for example. So in very different genres, you can use this as some sort of organic interface. Like you can sample it or just manipulate sounds, and I'm very curious to see that and take the Lapsteel in a different in a more modern way maybe, and also in traditional stuff. I'm very up for it. Yeah, and the cool thing is that Lionel Luike, a player who has one of my guitars, he's a jazz player playing in the band of Herbie Hancock and doing amazing solo music as well. He wants one too, so I'm very excited about if he's making new music because of that instrument. That would be great.
Yeah, wonderful. It's always great to put it out there. I remember actually there was a musical instrument that was made not so different than what you're talking about with your log. No strings at all. It's a percussion instrument that UFIP in Italy makes. And I was working with UFIP, and I didn't really quite understand this instrument. It was literally a piece of sheet metal bent in four angles, but one side left open, so you could squeeze it.
Okay.
When you hit it, it was just kind of a piece of bronze,
Cool.
And I remember being in Miami with a Cuban drummer. This guy was the drummer for Arturo Sandoval, a really famous Cuban horn player. And we were going through all the different things that we had. And I was like, and then there's this. I put it in his hand, and I had never managed to really make it do much of anything. And this guy, he was like, oh, I could do a whole show on this. He started playing.
Yeah.
Actually, he said, Jamie, you could do a whole show on this. I said, no, Patuti, you could do a whole show on this. I'm a competent drummer, but I didn't know what the hell to do with that, to be honest. And he had so much to go with, And part of it was the limitations of him growing up. When growing up in Cuba, you know, very poor. They used to dumpster dive at the back of the hospital to get X-rays and turn them as drum heads. Because he couldn't get drum heads.
That's
so
insane.
He laughed, you know, because he'd be playing a show and the lights would come on. You'd see like a lung, here's someone's broken femur. You know, like
that's so cool. That's so
but, you know, when you grow up in that kind of environment, you learn to work with everything.
Yeah.
And I think of myself as a fairly creative, to be honest. With, you know, I'm a drummer first and then bass and then guitar was the way my progress. But this thing was so simple.
Yeah.
Man, he made wonderful music.
That's so cool.
Of course, he's
There's one drummer from Brooklyn. I sadly don't know his name, or I forgot it. But he's also playing a self-made Lapsteel. It's two Lapsteels in front of him on next to the hi-hat, and he has some sort of metal bar beneath between the strings. Like he weaves the strings up above and then he drums on the strings and makes different chords with it, and he moves the bar around and plays the drums as well. It's so cool.
Is his name Jim Black?
I wouldn't know if I hear it. I just scrolled over it on Instagram and it was I was blown away. I should
please send this to me if you have a chance.
Yeah, I do.
Jim Black is a friend. He's an avant-garde sort of free jazz player. The guys at Modern Drummer, you know, once told me they thought he was the best drummer in the entire world.
Wow.
Really remarkable player. And I've seen him a few times at the Stone, but the last we met, he was actually living in Berlin. He was, he had a position there teaching at the university and continues to tour around Europe all the time. Yeah, Jim Black, you should check him out. I think you'll dig him. But Jim is exactly that kind of drummer who would see it as an opportunity, you know, to do things. And, you know, so I just came back from the NAMM show a couple days ago. And at the show, I had 3 panel discussions, and one of the panel discussions was on UI design in the guitar, so the user interface, because the guitar has so many different shapes and contexts throughout the world, throughout history. It continues to evolve as people evolve, and so we struggle a little bit to define the guitar. As a matter of fact, I had that conversation with George Gruen not so long ago about what exactly makes it a guitar. And I see the guitar as a mechanical user interface. That these strings that we make shorter and longer to change the note, either by pressing them against a fingerboard, or in this case with the log by using as you said, sort of a movable fret, if you will, with a slide. And when you talked about putting it down on the table, you know, with pedals and having that at that point in time, it really is just an interface with strings, and you don't have to be a musician. You don't have to be a guitar player to pluck those strings and to move the bar. That's really,
it's very
exciting.
Yeah, I think so too. And you know, the Lapsteel is a tough instrument. Like, it's a fretless instrument. You have to have intonation with your ear, and it takes practice. It's much harder probably than in some cases. It depends on what you play, but sometimes it's harder. And I really want to communicate the simplicity of, like, you can make a choice how simple stuff is that you're making with it, and that's very freeing somehow. So you can tune your guitar in a cool chord, and you just strum it open, and that's also okay. Or you just put the bar at one place and it's a different chord. So you don't have to play solistically or virtuosity. And since you were speaking about interface, the Lapsteel is very, like, I love the simplicity of the, not only mine, but the Lapsteel in general is such like, it's, you only need 2 points where you hook up a string, and that's a Lapsteel. Like, you don't even touch it with your hand. You only touch the strings with your hand. You have it on your lap in the best case. Maybe you have it on a stand in front of you. So it's very different as an interface than a regular guitar. You don't need a neck. You don't need a body. When a Lapsteel is shaped in that guitar shape, it's only for cosmetics. Like you don't have to have these cutouts on a lap steel. It doesn't make any sense. Like, of course, when you have volume knobs or tone knobs, to make them accessible, you need some sort of body shape or whatever. Yeah, exactly. But in the case of log, there are no potentiometers, and the focus is strictly on moving the pickup. So it makes sense to just have it straight, and it doesn't matter with the playing. Like it's not worse to play than any other lap steel, even though it's the simplest shape.
Yeah. I don't know that a lot of people realize that's where Leo Fender started also. First with radios, but the first guitar that he was making was a lap steel. And it really was a very simple plank of wood with kind of a triangular headstock.
I think it's a great design. Yeah.
Here you go. Gruen keeps coming up in this conversation, but George Gruen has one of the pre-Fender lap steels upstairs outside of his office, and I think of that as one of the instruments I think about when I go to Gruen's, is to see that sort of moment. And and if you want to make an instrument, as a matter of fact, it's at the beginning of the movie This Might Get Loud with Jack White, Edge, and Jimmy Page. Jack White just sort of grabs a plank of wood and two screws with a string and slides a magnetic pickup underneath it with one string, and he's got a lap steel.
You know that I showed this sequence in my diploma, in my thesis, when I had a talk about Cosmo. It was my diploma in design degree. So I showed this clip of Jack White there as an intro.
Amazing. It's that makes a lot of sense, because I remember you talking about that you might not need anything more than just a single roof batten or board, a log, whatever you want to say. And it is true. You can do that, but the frets do add a level of
control
to listen to the way you said that.
Control.
The dissension. It allows a level of control, but it's an imperfect control also, to a certain extent. And so in this user interface discussion, I had Sheldon Dingwall, Ola Strandberg, and Bob Taylor as a part of it. Each one of them, I think, have shifted what guitar design is in their respective fields, in the bass guitar, in the ergonomic electric guitar, and in the acoustic guitar, in the way we make them and the way we interact with them. And Bob, I think he quoted Brian Wilson from the Beach Boys. I'll try and paraphrase, but he said, when the electronic tuner came out, music got thinner.
So you
sink in for a second.
Yeah. It's interesting, like the wonkiness of a mistuned instrument adds to the honky tonk vibe, so to say.
It's exactly it. When people talk about making guitars perfect and they really refine them, often my response to them is like, yeah, that's great, but remember, you can't play honky tonk on a Steinway. And that's exactly it, right? There's this out of tuneness is a character to a certain extent. And he made the point, when you hear a symphony orchestra, there's 40, 60 people up there, and they're not perfectly, and they're all playing unfretted instruments. I know that they're very good at playing in tune. They're not playing perfectly in tune, and so when you layer them up, there's a thickness to the sound of it, a fullness to the sound of it. And when everything is perfectly matched in tune electronically, that music became a little bit thinner. What do you think of that?
Yeah, I would agree. I mean, a lap steel is in that sense, it's also always out of tune, since you're playing vibrato all the time, or not all the time, but it's fretless, so it's your choice what pitch you reach. And of course you have and especially probably with the harp tuners, they're more variances, like a couple of cents maybe in between the strings. So yeah, I like that. I would agree.
Yeah, and I think with the Lapsteel, you can choose to be slightly under or over pitch if you want to be. You know, when I play drums, that's one of the things, well, and bass, because, well, I guess all instruments, but hang on a second. Let's just go with drums for a second, because you don't have the reference of pitch. You know, a drummer can really affect the band if he chooses to play. As a drummer, we talk about playing slightly behind the beat. You know, or you're rushing it. You're playing ahead of the beat. You know, it really changes how the feel of the music is, for sure. It's one of the reasons I really enjoy playing bass in a band also, is because I get to kind of do what I want as the drummer and the guitar player. I can really control a band from the bass position.
Yeah. And you're the only one noticing it.
That's right. Yeah, exactly. And so, yeah, this really interesting idea with the Lapsteel and being able to sort of intentionally play ever so slightly off, not irritatingly off, ever so slightly off to add a little thickness, shall we say, or
a laid back feeling. Yeah, totally. That's very, and that's also something that I love about fretless instruments. And I thought about adding some, like there are different musical systems on this planet rather than what we used to, the 12-tone system. So if you play Indian ragas, for example, there's actually an Indian instrument that's very similar to a Lapsteel. I sadly forgot the name now, but it exists. It looks like a Lapsteel in an Indian style.
Yeah, I can help our listeners here. Andy Ellis wrote an article for Premier Guitar Magazine back in the late 2000s on this instrument, on the Lapsteel, and how it evolved in India separately.
Yeah, it makes totally sense. So I thought about maybe adding some paper cards with different fret markings on it to just explain different like systems and stuff. It's would be a simple thing to do and maybe inspiring. Like Japanese use different spacings in between, and Indian and Turkish people like microtonal music, and it's not limited to 22 frets anymore.
No, as a matter of fact, I think if I recall correctly, the history says that Western musicians, when they first explored Africa and the Far East, when they tried to notate the music, they realized that the system we have was insufficient to notate the music. We could not.
Yeah, it's much too coarse.
Yeah. And, you know, if we now take that concept of the sort of 12 division of frequencies that we have our sort of music scale under, and abstract that into color also, we have the same issue in our colors. You know, there's no Russian word for blue. Do you know that?
No, I didn't.
They don't have a color blue.
That's crazy.
They have two colors that we call blue, but they have two different names for blue. One is a little more green, and one is. But the point is, there's not a single color of blue. And really, when we look at the rainbow, there is a point where it ceases to be, I don't know, yellow and becomes red, and there's that orange sort of space in between. We call it orange. Orange doesn't technically exist, I think. But where you choose to subdivide the rainbow, well, I mean, hell, I've got Pantone sets here that are, I don't even know how many colors I have in the Pantone set. Like, that's a lot of subdivisions.
Yeah, that's true. It's all human choices that we did. I mean, the Lapsteel is, especially log, is very cool to explore the physics of sound, like the physics of a vibrating string, because once you move the pickup to those points where you play the flageolet notes, like the overtone,
yes,
you know, the 12th fret and 5th and 7th. When you move the pickup to that point, not only the octaves, but the I don't know, quint, or
Okay.
somebody knows better than me. But when you move the pickup to that point, it entirely blocks those overtones. So you play the flageolet at the 12th, you move the pickup to the 12th, and you don't hear anything at all, because the string, I don't know how. It just is like this. You have to believe me. And it's so weird, because you can really hear so many. It sounds like a phaser, and it does that. It does that also acoustically, unplugged, so that the string pull has such an effect that you hear like a phaser or like a chorus, for example. So in a way, it's also, it feels a bit like these physic toy thingies for children to explore sound. It's very fun to just play around with it, and I bet it would be cool for children as well to just play with it.
Well, my grandson's staying with me, Robin. You can always send me over one for us to, and I'll send you some video of a child playing with it. And we'll do some experimentation together.
Yeah, it would be cool. Let's do that.
That would be great. Currently, he loves having a tenor ukulele on his lap and just play. He does not want to be shown what to do. He's 2.5 years old. He just wants to be free to create, which is great. I don't need to show him what to do, but he's not at all interested in watching someone else and then copying them. He just wants to do his thing at this point on that.
Yeah. That's awesome.
Yeah. And this, the Lapsteel would be great. And it would sit on the floor. You could interact with it however he interacts with it. Oh, Robin, let's do this. Let's set up one in the room.
Yeah, I'm up for it.
Just
it's
have
cool. And it's purple. It's fun for children as well.
This space is normally reserved for brands who make stories like this possible, like the Dario and the Cedar Creek Custom Case Shop. If your company belongs in this conversation, let's talk. We partner with brands who value craft, culture, and the quiet power of a well-placed idea. Yeah.
Did you know it's purple only?
I did not
made
know
that choice, and I'm not sure if that's the right choice, but it's purple only.
What color of purple is it?
It's a RAL tone, so I think it's called blue purple, if I recall right. I call it pop lilac. And I got that name from Brompton, the bike brand, the folding bikes. Yeah. And my own Brompton has the same color. It inspires me to inspired me to use that.
Yes,
and
yes.
It looks a bit like Milka chocolate, and it's a fun thing to do. And I chose it because I think it's so much non-traditional and unexpected that I thought it just fits.
One of the best slide players in the world, and living in Nashville, Randy Coors, he has a studio. He's a Grammy Award-winning engineer also. He spends most of his time recording now, not touring or playing live. And Randy's whole studio is purple. Slack Key Studios.
Oh, cool, that's great. So he needs one too.
When you're ready to release it, I'll send Randy a picture, and I'm sure he's very keen on giving it a go.
That's good.
For sure. So,
but the thought behind it was like, I think I find it interesting to when you have such simple instruments like I do, there's some sort of room to give it an additional character somehow. Like I think color is an important part of that. So it's not a choice to buy it in black or in white, but it needs to be purple. It's the thing of log. Yeah. I found that very cool.
I love it. And I like the choice, and I think that the this lilac color it's a good modern color, I think, in this context. I think about, so recently I had a, Michael Sankey had his electric feather guitar on tour with us. And
I love it.
We sold a lot of them.
Wow, great.
Which was surprising, because Mike doesn't normally want to make more than one guitar, but I told him the demand is so high. Come on, just make some iterations on it. And we got an order from a gentleman from Austria He said, listen, it's already sold, but he's willing to make you one. He just insists aesthetically it will be different, functionally the same, but aesthetically different. So they're all unique. And his response was, I'm fine with anything, but I'm not sure that my Austrian sensibilities will allow me to play pink. Anything else is fine.
Yeah, it can happen. Yeah. Maybe next year I change to a different color. Maybe I do it annually.
Well, lilac is not pink; it's purple. It's okay.
Yeah,
it's the
you're right.
It's the priestly robes. It's the color of royalty.
Yeah.
You know, to a certain extent. So that's wonderful.
Yeah,
I would love, Robin. We got to not just talk about this. We got to do this with kids. Because I would love to see a video of this in the middle of a white room, like your sort of style, and then just let a couple of curious children into the room.
Yeah,
and just film it.
That's
just
a
watch
great
what
idea.
happens.
We do that. Sounds great. I have a couple of nieces and nephews too, so it sounds like a good plan. Nice.
Yeah. And you know, just leave a bar around. But don't tell them what to do with it. You know, just let them play.
Do you know these cute little videos where celebrities are interviewed with little puppies, like the dogs running around in the studio context?
Yes.
And they're always like distracted by the cuteness of them, or like they pee on the floor and stuff.
Yes.
I imagine it to be something like this with Locke.
That. Yeah. It could be really. Yeah, this playfulness, this wonderfulness, this authentic sort of interactions. I would love to see that, and you know, see how each child sort of interacts. Of course, we're often around musicians because we are musicians and we're in the music industry. I had a few musicians at my table a few months ago, and my grandson was there, and there was music on. We were having a little party, and one of them was just watching him, going, "He's clapping in time, and he knows where the 2 and the 4 are." I was like, "Yeah, you're right."
Yeah.
I don't know why. It's really natural for some of them. And it would be really interesting to see how random it is, or
how intentional,
intentional it is. Yeah, I guess it's
It's interesting about the whole concept of music. Like, why do we make music? It must be something we have in us since childhood or birth. It's it feels good, I guess.
Yeah. So we were discussing this within the context of AI and sensory perception. So. You and I have discussed before that as I tried to simplify my understanding of sound, I broke it down to sort of 3 basic ideas, or 3 words, you know, that it's movement in time and perception. And so movement and energy are the same within physics, same, interchangeable, but it's useful when we're talking about making acoustic systems like a guitar, that we talk about it as movement, right? Yep. Time is frequency. We talk about frequency also, right? So 440 movements within a second is 440 hertz. That's the A string of a violin. That's how we define the movement and how we communicate it to each other. But the perception part is where it becomes really interesting, because without the ear, it's not sound. If you perceive 440 movements with your eye, it's a color.
Yeah.
If you perceive 440 movements with your palate, your nose, it's a smell. You know, and if you touch it with your fingers, it's heat or cold. And so the concept of sound is very specific to our ability to perceive it. And when we think about the 5 senses that we all talk about, right? So hearing, sight, smell, taste, touch, there's only one of those we can project with intention. I mean, we smell, we have a smell to us, but we can't intentionally project our pheromones. We do it instinctually. But we can't like say, I'm now going to pheromone you, you know, but we can sing a note to you.
Yeah, I would say we
can speak to you.
You can radiate warmth.
and love.
Yes, but not over long distances. I
No,
can
but-
communicate
yeah.
across a canyon or something of the
Yeah,
sort,
you're
right?
right. You're right.
And that our greatest ability to not just perceive, but then to project actually is in sound
Mhm.
as a human.
Yep.
We can make movements which can be perceived by sight and by sound, but our sight is limited
Yeah.
differently than our ability to, and those movements are limited greatly compared to what we can do with our voice.
Mhm.
And so there is something about our ability to make noise,
Mhm.
which is really central and one of our key elements in humanity.
Mhm. Yeah. Yep.
And so musical instruments takes advantage of our sensory system, because then we get to also engage our touch. You know, as humans, if we can extend our body,
Mhm.
right? We can use a screwdriver in the dark or in a hole as you're trying to find the head of it, and you
Yeah.
can feel when you touch the head of it, right?
Mhm.
So we've extended our body somehow through the screwdriver
Mhm. Mhm.
to feel the end of the screwdriver to a certain
Yep.
extent. And the musical instrument is that same sort of extension. You know, it's give and take, right? We make a movement, we feel a movement, we choose how to respond to the movement, we make the next movement. That's how musical instruments work.
Yep.
And so this whole sort of bringing together of movement perceived by ear, which we call sound, and our ability to start it with our kinetic movements, you know, is the musical experience.
Mhm.
I don't know where I'm going with that. I'm just thinking out loud. Sorry, Ron.
Yeah, but I agree.
Step in here, man. Help me out.
I'm sorry. I just found it interesting what you were saying. Was just listening. Yeah. It's. I don't know what to say. It's so interesting why, and it just feels. It goes down to it feels good.
Yes.
Yeah.
It does feel good.
Mm.
And that's why as soon as a child learns to stand
Mm.
and you play
Yeah.
music, you watch them. We all love watching children try and dance, right? I
Yeah,
don't know why.
yeah,
It's
yeah.
real joy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. These days, these days are so tough, I'd say, politically, and what's happening around the world. And as a guitar builder, I'm sometimes asking myself, what am I doing here? Am I contributing to something?
Yeah.
Am I inspiring and stuff? And it's good to speak about those simple things, because it's one of the most important things. I guess we were like, the cause of our planet is to feel good and to do good things to others and share good experiences, and it's all vibration. And I don't know. Yeah, it makes sense. And we need to stay strong in times like these and continue, I guess. Maybe it's just a guitar builder trying to make his work valuable. I don't know.
Yeah, don't diminish your work by
No, I
saying
don't.
just
I don't.
a
Yeah.
guitar maker.
Yeah.
I get what you're saying, and I think it's important to be modest and not too full of yourself. However, you know, I don't remember who said it. Possibly it was in Churchill, and I'm going to butcher it, but the sentiment was, you know, if we don't care for things like that, like art, you know, what the hell are we fighting for in the first place?
Exactly.
You know, what are we trying to? All right. So listen, political turmoil. Let's take care of this for a second. So what we feel is a tension. We feel a tension between what exists or what is perceived to matter to certain groups of people, and they want to conserve them.
Yeah.
Others feel bound or need change. They want to liberate them. And it's this tension between what to conserve and what to liberate. And that shows itself in our democracies. So most democracies end up with two very strong parties, and one of those parties' whole focus is on what to conserve, and the other party's whole focus is on what to liberate. right? And in Canada, we literally, our political parties are called the Liberals and the Conservatives. That's exactly, that's the primary parties we have. Their names are to conserve and deliberate.
Yeah.
And this tension that exists between them, if you don't have an official opposition, you don't have democracy. Like it only exists in this tension.
Yeah.
But there are times where the tension feels, well, higher than other times, right?
Yeah, I don't know what you're talking about. Yeah.
But it's because we are literally fighting about what is worth conserving and what needs to be liberated or thrown away, or burnt, whatever we say, destroyed.
Yeah.
You know, and I think that every culture agrees that conserving their cultural heritage of music is important. It's something every culture that I'm aware of that has the ability tries to actively conserve their musical history.
Yeah.
So it must be important, Robin.
Yeah. Even I, as a builder of futuristic instruments, agree in in that. Yeah. I think it's it's super interesting. Like I build modern guitars, but you can also play traditional music with it, and
Yeah, of course.
it's all fine. Yeah.
And so it's important for us to be able to, well, it's funny as I struggle to find the words and conceive this thought, because what I'm trying to express is that when I'm very sad, often I turn to my guitar and music, and I do, or even you turn on some music that expresses something that you're currently not able to quite express.
Yeah.
And so you put on a song, or you play a song, or you play music, because our words are a limitation.
Yeah, totally. Yeah. That's also something that I find so cool about musical instruments. Like you can express so much of yourself that you didn't even know is there. You make music and that's also how, like, choosing a guitar, going in a music store and playing different guitars, it's completely like I wouldn't be able to explain that in words. It just feels right or wrong, and that's
I know
probably
people
what.
who have had a retail career that actively say this one little phrase, and they say, "You don't choose the guitar; it chooses you."
Yeah, and it is like it is. Yeah, and since I built them myself, I love to play guitar. It's not that I'm like Leo Fender who doesn't play.
Right.
You strengthen the sense of what you're looking for. I did not know that before I started building guitars, but now I know very precisely what I like. And the interesting thing is that this seems to work for many players. Like over time, I reduced my offerings in customizations, and I limited it much more. Like I did in the past, like neck shapes, and I ask them, of course, which action height and stuff. But other than that, it's more or less based on what I like, and it seems to resonate with all of them. Like it feels good, and it's something that, of course, you can measure things, and I do measure things, and I know what I'm building. But it's not that I'm like when I sand a neck. There's a certain threshold or limits I'm okay with. Like if it feels good, I don't need the calipers to approve that. And yeah, it's interesting in the field.
Yeah. I mean, it is such a sensory instrument. You know, that's your fingers are probably very highly developed. Your sense of touch is probably very highly developed.
And with the Lapsteel, that's much easier. Like you don't have to do much on a Lapsteel from from the perspective of builder. Like, of course, you have to file the saddle depth so it's even on top.
Yep.
That's I would argue that's probably the one thing you have to do, and make a stable structure, make a good pickup. It's done. Yeah.
Yeah. The rest is up to the player.
Yep.
Yeah. Wonderful. Wow. Well, Robin, what do you think? Actually, when we talked about your last release, did you already have this in mind? I had this feeling like you said you already had the next sort of idea.
I did have a I think I did. I got the idea for the Lapsteel, I think 2 years ago, and not really, like, I had a few drawings which looked pretty much like it is now, but I never drew something on the computer in detail. And I started the project in pretty late in August this year, so it's kind of fast. Like, I worked pretty intense on it. I took a whole month off of custom builds and just worked on that guitar. And it seems a long time for such a simple thing, but it was much tougher than I expected. Like, there are so many, like when you order parts, like the sheet metal, I don't bend the sheet metal anymore myself. I order them in a local factory here in close to Castle. And you have to be extremely precise when you do something like that. Like you get what you order. And I messed it up the first time. So I ordered a batch of 10 for the first prototype. Since one is the same price as 10, so I ordered 10. And I realized that the bottom sheet metal part was way too thin, and the whole thing bent up with the string tension, so it couldn't hold up the tuning. And I needed to make it double the thickness, which is 8 times stiffer. So there was quite a downer and interesting development, and lots of unexpected details. It was a very different design approach, because if you build something yourself, you can adjust immediately, and when you order something and you get the parts, assemble it, it's a very, very different approach. Very different design approach.
Yes. So I presume you have 10 nice little steel shelves somewhere now, or drawers, future drawers.
I thought so. I thought about a shelf. In the end, I just tossed them away. It was, I don't know. I thought it's better to be recycled rather than collecting dust. That's the good thing about steel. You can just melt it up again and
melt it down again. Yeah. Wonderful. Well, great. So, as we look to wrap this up, is there something that you hoped that we would discuss today that maybe we haven't covered so far?
I think
last question to you, Robin.
Oh, maybe the artwork. I forgot the artwork. Is my camera sharp? That's the manual of log. Like on the back side, there's a manual.
Okay. Yes.
And it's an etching my father did. So my father is a painter and an artist, and he did this one in the 70s, in 76. So he was younger than I am now, back then. And I just wanted to lose a few words why I chose this to accompany log. And since log is such a simple instrument, and it's pretty much the same reason for why I chose the purple. It's to carry a certain, like, a feeling with it, maybe. And this etching shows a forest which looks kind of eerie to me. Like it's very simple in its forms, and somehow the more I look at it, it's hiding some stuff, and you find details, and it reminds me of log itself in a very moody way, and I like to give that to my clients and hand over this inspiration, maybe. Yeah, and I love to collaborate with my dad. It's very cool. He was the one who helped me back then when I built the first Lapsteel when I was 15. We had no power tools, and he knew somebody who helped me out with the woodwork, and I did lots of stuff myself, and he pushed me, and it was very cool, and I loved that the circle closed down 20 years later. Yeah,
wonderful. And that's 76. That's 50 years ago.
Yeah, it's crazy, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes, it's the year of my birth. I'll be 50 shortly.
Yeah, wow.
And Jamie, you're old.
Yeah. My dad would say it's still young.
Yes, I have lots of guitar makers who I work with who say I'm still a kid.
Yeah. My grandma is double your age. She's
100?
103. She's 103. Yeah.
Amazing. Wow, 103. So she's born in 1923?
22. She gets 24 this year. Yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah.
So and her brain is still
her brain is still good. Yeah. I mean, physically not so much anymore, but she's still she's still able to walk, and she's still writing and doing some stuff.
Did you say writing or writing?
Yeah, she writes some like memoirs and stuff, but nothing, no books or something. And she played organ, but she doesn't anymore. She can't. Like she's too weak to push the keys.
The keys in the same way. Yeah. Yeah. Wonderful. That's amazing. 104 years old. Wow.
Yeah.
Happy birthday to your grandmother.
Yeah, thanks. I tell her. Yeah, and she would say to you, "That's so young. You're so young." 50 years.
I'm aware of it. I know that I have a lot of time still to do things. Presumably, I live, and that I could have another 50 years of doing things.
As a guitar builder and a player, you have a sense for when something's working right. That's why so many of the world's best trust D'Addario. Unmatched tone, perfect intonation, and strings made to the tightest tolerances in the industry. That reputation is no accident. It's the result of 400 years of being obsessed with quality and innovation. D'Addario, when you know, you know.
And I'm conscious of that because when I was younger, I thought 50 was very old.
Yeah.
And that you're almost dead at 50, and so I don't feel that way now, though. I feel like there's still lots of things that I can do.
Yeah.
I'm happy with what I've done so far. I could die tomorrow and feel satisfied, like I had a good life.
That's good.
Yeah, but I certainly never think about retiring. Someone. No, I was listening to a podcast yesterday, and they talked a little bit about retiring. And to me, like if you're looking forward to retirement, you're probably living the wrong life.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Why wait to retire? Like, do something about it now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, totally. I think I like guitar building even in my I hope to continue in my age. Or maybe do something different. I don't know. I have many hobbies.
I don't know that I'll always do what I'm doing now, but I'll know that I'm doing something. I just can't imagine the plan is to nothing. What do you mean the plan is to nothing? I don't understand what that is at all.
No, me too. Me too. Yeah.
Yeah. This guy was wrote a couple of famous books, and he wrote a book about 20 years ago. I don't remember the name of it, but it was basically empowering women to take control of their finances. And he says his goal was to help 1 million women become financially independent. And he did. Mm-hmm. It was released on Oprah's book list and such. And it was on the Diary of a CEO podcast I was listening to yesterday. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. But, at the end, it was like, so what are you doing now? And he's like, well, I think this is the last sort of book I've done. And my goal this year is to is to ski every month in the year. Once a year. And I was like,
so travel around the planet. Okay. Yeah, well,
and honestly,
that's also something.
yeah, but it ended on such a low note for me. Like, really? You got all the money in the world, you can do everything, and your plan is to ski once a month somewhere? Like, that sounds, yeah, so boring to me. But maybe not to someone else.
I don't know. Yeah.
Yeah, not the skiing is boring, but just the idea of that's the goal. I've got all the money to do anything I could plan to do, and the goal is to go skiing once a month. Yeah. It's a little too boring for me.
I would agree. I would agree.
So, anyways,
okay, Jimmy.
Robin, thank you so much for making inspiring guitars.
Thank you for inviting me and doing the great work. Jamie, it was a pleasure. Really cool talk today.
Yeah. I look forward to getting my hands on your new instrument, the log, and I look forward to sharing it with other people and seeing what they do with it.
Yeah.
And I'm also looking forward to watching your video with the little children, the little kinder.
Yeah.
Lapsteel. Sponsored by Milka.
Yeah. I'm not into that.
No, neither am I. Don't give the children chocolate.
Yeah.
So,
I use Fairtrade chocolate and paint it purple. Yeah.
All right. In case I implied something different, Robin would like all of you to know that he's virtuous and makes righteous choices, and he only eats Fairtrade chocolate.
Exactly. It's important. I mean, chocolate has lots of child labor, so it would be pretty ironical to do that in a children video. Yeah, I guess.
No, is it opportunity? Is it child labor? I'm not sure. We'll see.
I didn't get that.
Well, our children. Okay, here we go into a new topic.
Deep topics.
I'm not saying there's no such thing as child labor.
No.
I'm just saying that I think of a lot of time what we identify as child labor, they don't see that way at all. You know, my father comes from a very small, remote fishing village in the island of Newfoundland. None of his siblings or himself have an education higher than maybe grade 8. I don't think they went to school past 13 years old. They were all adults at that point in time. And traditionally, you know, cultural ceremonies like bar mitzvahs and such happened at 13. And, you know, Gandhi was married at 13, I think.
Yeah.
You know, that's matter of fact, we're the only species on the planet that hits sexual maturity and says, no, don't do it. Don't procreate. You're still a child. That's nonsense. I think culturally we're children, but we're not all cultures, your child at 13. And so that all depends on our expectations.
Yeah.
And so
but it doesn't mean that you like taking the advantage of, since we have the choice to pay more for a good product and a better situation for farmers and stuff. That's what I meant with that. Yeah. So.
Yeah. No, I understand what you mean. I just a chance to explain myself a little bit here. I just remember watching this documentary where they had this two young, I think they were young Indian boys who were, you know, they were riding in the back of rickshaws, which apparently are very dangerous, or whatever the motorized one is with the scooter up front and two wheels in the back.
Yeah.
And they said how dangerous this is and how these young boys sometimes die. But I watched the young boys hustling and making money and drawing people over to their rickshaw,
It's
and
the
how
reality.
they didn't have any parents and they were feeding themselves. And this documentary was trying to bring up sort of sympathy for these children, how awful this was. I'm like, no, go get it, kid. Sell your rickshaw.
Yeah.
You know, I'm proud of the kid. And they were thinking, oh, how sad this is. So I'm like, no, this is life. This is humanity. And it doesn't always work out perfectly smooth. Yeah. And then that kid's probably going to grow up to be an awesome adult because he learned all these skills when he was young.
Yeah,
to be competent and to do things. And so that's all I mean. Not that there's not people who are abused in the world, but you know, I watched my daughter with my grandson. We went away for NAM and we live remotely and my daughter is visiting us here. And we live too far away to go to a grocery store. It's a half an hour drive and so she had to have 2 weeks of groceries before we left.
Yeah.
And one of the things she wanted before we left was a stepladder so that her son could stand up the stepladder to be at counter to help her cook and to do the dishes and to do things. He's 2.5 years old,
great.
and he's there making breakfast with her.
So
and he
cool.
loves doing dishes. He loves you say laundry to this kid. He's like, laundry. And he gets excited and runs across the house. It's time to do chores. I love it. Because he's got agency, he's got competency. And we had exchange students for years, and we had kids come in from all over the world where we expected them to be able to
help,
to contribute. That was I will do the dishes sometimes, but you will also do the dishes sometimes. And we had many 17-year-olds come in from around the world who didn't know how to use a broom, like literally didn't know how to hold a broom to sweep the floor. And you're like, what are your parents? They think they're helping you. They're going to send you out there. You're completely incompetent. Good that you can do long division and trigonometry, but you can't sweep a floor. That's not good for your life.
No.
And so anyways, this, I think agency and competency is the greatest thing that we can do for people. And that this current sort of epidemic we seem to have with high levels of anxiety is just, anxiety is not the issue. The issue is either ignorance or incompetence. Because anxiety is just not knowing. And if you knew how to do it, you wouldn't be anxious. And so either you don't know about it, and you don't know you can figure it out, or you've never done it, and that's where the anxiety comes in, right? And so we got to stop calling it anxiety and just got to sort of solving our ignorance and our competence.
Yes.
For the future, and that starts young. Should start young. Anyways, I also don't want child labor, but I do want competency in young children.
That's really true, and for that reason, I'm doubting this. If lots of children toys are even a good thing, like a broom can also be a good children toy, for example, and buying stuff explicitly for the reason of play. Doesn't make too much sense, and to me, oftentimes, just because it's plastic and it's colorful doesn't mean it makes much sense for the learning and life abilities of a child.
You're right. So my grandson does not have a bunch of toys at all. It's something we dealt with a long time ago with our own children. When I realized that my son, had an emotional breakdown every time I asked him to clean his room. But when I walked into his room, I'm like, this is a lot of stuff. And he's too young to be able to organize this much stuff.
Totally.
And so we got on this sort of minimal sort of kick when they were much younger, when my kids were young. After we had already created a big mess, to be clear, too many toys, too many things. But we really sort of brought it back. And my daughter has really kept that as conceptually to be very minimal with her child. And you know what? He is so excited when our Ely coffee order arrives. Because he gets to unpack the box and the colorful packages. They're just as good as any colorful plastic toy, just these the coffee order. Ely is here. And if he hears me turn on the espresso machine, he comes running over because he wants to put the espresso in the turn over and help me and press the button. And play is how we learn. And play is how we continue to create. Which is a great way to leave off this conversation with.
Perfect.
Robin Stumvoll, one of the masters of play.
Thanks so much, Jimmy. It was a pleasure.
Robin, thank you for always being curious and for continuing to play and helping us remember that music is play. I really, really, really love that about you. And so thank you for that.
You're welcome. Thank you.
All right. Bye for now.
Bye-bye. Ciao.
You've been listening to Life with Strings Attached. If today's conversation meant something to you, consider passing it on. These stories find their place through the people who share them. A new episode comes out every Friday, right here, wherever you're listening. I'm Jamie Gale, and thanks for listening to Life with Strings Attached.